This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 14. Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 14. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. It's a brother Aharon coming back at you with another lesson, Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and I believe today is January 29th, 2023, the hopeful year where all the prophecies come to pass. All right, and when you go into the book of 2nd Ezra, majority of the end time prophecies are highlighted, by the prophet Ezra, because he was shown visions, all right, of these days that we're living in. He was shown vivid visions, just like the apostle John. You read the book of Revelation, all right, there's a lot of vivid visions that the Lord showed, all right, his men, all right. And now he's put those same men back in this reincarnation, to what? To explain those vivid visions that we received back in our past lives. Now, ultimately, all the prophets saw one thing and one thing only, which was what? The ultimate destruction of America, Babylon the Great, all right, which happens which is part of the end time prophecies. So at the end of all this, at the end of the captivity of Israel and Judah, at the end of it all, what happens? Well, the land in which the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel were held captive will be destroyed, and the elect of those two kingdoms being brought together, the elect will be delivered by Yahushai. So what we're going to be delivered from? We're going to be delivered from this coming destruction that's coming. All right. And now I wanted to go into this article here, all right, because we're talking about what? The plagues, right? Now, plagues, actually, as a matter of fact, let's look up the word plagues real quick, because when you think of plagues, you normally think of, the bubonic plague and so on and so forth. All right. But plagues, when you go into the online etymology dictionary, it says affliction, calamity, evil, scourge, severe trouble, or vexation, right? So a plague is simply severe trouble or vexation. All right, now, when you go into the book of Jeremiah, let's get that real quick, all right? The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, all right, in verse 7, the Heavenly Father told, all right, Jeremiah, that we're going to enter into a time like never before, where we're going to see a whole lot of things that has never, ever happened on the face of the earth, ever, in the fashion and the manner in which it's going to be happening in. The rapid succession of things, all right, the continuous evils that people are going to suffer. No breaks. All right, no breaks. There's a book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, in verse 7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." So that time is talking specifically about the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, and who's Jacob? Jacob is the Israelites. Jacob is the Israelites. All right, in this verse, in this sentence here, in this precept, Jacob is talking about the Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, all right, throughout the whole entire planet Earth. But he's predominantly here in America, Babylon the Great. Now, recently you just had this situation where there was another police so-called shooting. All right, and that's all biblical prophecy. But there was another police shooting, and it makes you wonder, why is it that so-called black people, so-called black men are always getting gunned down by the police? Why is that? Right? Why is that? There's always some bullshit with that shit. Why come they're not doing that to the so-called Chinaman? They're certainly not doing that with the so-called Arabs, right? They call them terrorists all day, but they leave them alone. They have businesses and so on and so forth. So if they were terrorists, why the hell do you allow them to have all these 7-Elevens and all these different businesses, If they were so terroristic and so crazy, how the hell is it that Biden is going to Saudi Arabia and sitting down with the crown prince or whatever? All right, bin Salman, whatever his name is. Right? Why are they all sitting down and shaking hands and talking and being smiles and shit? What's going on with that? If they hate each other so much, why are they always coming together, having meetings and talking about world current events? Why? Because it's all a stage. Okay? All these nations are working together to formulate the so-called New World Order. All right? So that they can block off prophecy of the Israelites ruling. But it's not going to happen. Okay? What is going to happen is the 2/3 of our people are about to be put to death by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right? The 2/3 of the nation of Israel will be put to death. Okay? Because there's nothing the Lord could do but put you to death. All right? So we're about to start seeing, all right, the most brutal, most chaotic time in human history. All right? When we talk about Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai putting the 2/3 to death, okay, in a very brutal manner, all right, look no further than the so-called U.S. military-industrial complex. All right, we're going to get to that. Okay, this is how it starts. So you had, going back to the story, you had a so-called police shooting, and they had gunned down this so-called black man. Right now, I'm going to get into this article here real quick. All right, and then we're going to read a little bit about something known as the Insurrection Act of 1807. Okay, and then we're going to tie it all in to show you that the next major event, or the next few events that are about to happen in the next coming days and next coming weeks, could very well lead to martial law. All right, the same very martial law we've been talking about, and that's how they're going to push that MOTB on people. It's through the time of martial law. Okay, and I'm gonna tie it all in. It says, Georgia Governor Kemp declares state of emergency after protests, mobilizes National Guard. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp declared a state of emergency Thursday in response to ongoing protests in downtown Atlanta. Now you notice a lot of this news, the news is not covering this thing. It's not really being put out there like that. Okay, just like what's going on in the Middle East. Okay, prophecy is ringing, but you don't really hear people talking too much about it. All right, except for the so-called conspiracy theorists. They're the only ones who always want to talk about reality. Everybody else just seems to be sleeping, just going about their lives, doing their own thing. And that's why the scripture says that the day is going to happen as a thief in the night. All right. Why is it going to be as a thief in the night? Because they're not watching the preparation. They're not watching things being built up. OK, so all of a sudden it's just going to come upon them and they're not going to know how to react. Like, wait, what? How did this all happen? Well, it didn't just all happen. It's been happening. You just decided not to pay attention to it. You call it conspiracy theories. You call it, these guys are nuts. Oh, you know, what are you guys talking about? You know? So that's why it came upon you suddenly, man. All right. So let's read this. It says, Kemp ordered the state's defense department to mobilize up to 1,000 state National Guard troops to be called up to active duty, quote, as necessary, end quote. Authorities arrested 6 people. The number 6 comes into play. All right. They never, ever do anything by accident. Remember, these are all orchestrated events. So they have to always put those numbers in there. Okay. So let's keep going. It says, authorities arrested 6 people Saturday when demonstrations over a proposed training ground for the Atlanta Police Department, which started peacefully, involved shooting fireworks, smashing windows, and igniting police cruiser once protesters reached downtown. All right. Now, again, this is all biblical prophecy. Okay. Again, the prophet Ezra, as a matter of fact, let's see if we can pull that up. Okay. He saw all these things. He saw people going crazy. All right. He saw people bugging the hell out, fighting each other, beating each other up. All right. Because of the famines. Okay. The orchestrated chaos and so on and so forth. He saw martial law. All right. He saw people being sent into C camps, concentration camps. All right. He saw people getting, MC, hipped. All right. The C hipped. All right. The C hipped. People are getting C hipped, man. Bringing them hands and getting that thing. Okay, so he saw all these things, man. All right, he saw all these things and he wrote them down. And now we're explaining what these things mean, that we're living in those days. All right, so let's continue. It says the group behind the protest, called Stop Cop City, has demonstrated against the training facility for months and was particularly moved last week by the death of a protester when police raided a campground occupied by demonstrators. All right, and they out here lighting cars on fire. You know, this is not even reported like that. It's like things are happening, but nobody's talking about it. So then what's going to be happening when everybody has no choice but to talk about it? Then you know it's going to be crazy. All right, and it's going to happen just like that. Okay, just like that, man. So let's continue. It says the proposed training center, which was approved by the Atlanta City Council in 2021, will reimagine. You hear that? Reimagine law enforcement training. According to the website of the Atlanta Police Foundation, which is spearheading the project. In a September FAQ, which is frequently asked questions, posted on its website, the foundation acknowledged that the 85 acres on which the facility is being built, which is part of a wooded area in DeKalb County, had been designated by the City Council in 2017 as a future green space. However, the group claims that the plan was not well known and said it was not binding. Camp's state of emergency declaration came as Atlanta braces for possible protests on Friday when Memphis authorities intend to release body camera footage of the alleged beating of Tyree Nichols by 5 Memphis police officers who have since been fired and charged with murder in his death. All right, so we looking at another so-called George Floyd situation. Okay, and you best believe that they already have everything planned with the Antifas of the world, all right, with the so-called Black Lives Matters of the world. Even after everything that came out about all that shit being a scam and a fraud, you're still gonna have people supporting it because they're dumb. Okay, they just follow the crowd. They just do whatever it is that the government tells them to do. And they think, oh, the next person is doing it. It's popular on social media. Why not? It's like real life events have become a clout chasing social media kind of thing, that people just get involved just to be seen that they're doing something that the world is actually looking at. Like, oh, okay. You know, protest has become the fashion. Like, oh, we just protesting in the streets. Bitches is protesting about abortion rights and shit. Motherfuckers is protesting about Roe v. Wade. They don't even know what the hell that is, but they're protesting just because, right? Motherfuckers got Black Lives Matter. You got a whole Edomite, he got Black Lives Matter on his car. Like he ever cared about Black lives, so-called Black lives. He doesn't care. He doesn't do anything to change the system. He can't. And the system is not going to be changed. It's going to be destroyed. The hell are you guys talking about? All right. But again, we are here to warn about these prophecies that are happening on the face of the earth. And at this point, we can't even call them so much prophecies, but because they're happening right now. Okay? They used to be prophecies, right? But now they're not because they're happening. Okay? They're happening. Let's get that real quick. Okay? Let's get that. Now, see, people, dislike the truth. So when we come out and speak it, we always gotta, be bashed. We always gotta be called names, and very soon the government and the world governments are conspiring to come against us, the men of the Lord. Okay, so we know that this is all biblical prophecy. We're not, befuddled by it. We're not, oh wow, no, because we understand that the Lord, all right, said that He's going to lift up His right hand and set up a standard against that type of persecution that's going to face against the men of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Even the spirit to go out there and teach. That's what Ezra saw. He saw the men that stood so stiffly for the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So when we go out there and we're teaching, that's that prophecy being fulfilled. We're standing stiffly, man. We're literally standing and speaking boldly against this empire, against this kingdom. All right, telling them the future, their fate. Okay, all right, letting them know that all this wickedness that you're doing, passing laws that are pushing wickedness, making wickedness the norm, is all going to result in death and destruction of this land. See, now that's prophecy. It's going to happen. See, now the Lord is building to that. That's why you're seeing all these things happening. You got this drag stuff that's become popular now. All right, transformation that's happened. You know what I'm saying? To the point where nowadays you can't even look at a woman and be okay. You know what I'm saying? Like you see her and you like, I don't even know if it's a female or a nigga. You don't even know. You know, you can't tell. You go on social media, oh, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? No, they ain't no women no more. It's like, where do they all go? They look like women, but they act like men. They act like niggas. Super ultra aggressive. All right? Nonsensical. It's like, what are you people doing, man? You know? You got men turning into women that are looking better than the women. Like, it's like a whole lot of confusion. It's crazy. And you think the Lord's just going, oh yeah, let me just leave him for another 5-10 years. You crazy, man? What's going to be happening to humanity in the next 5-10 years, man? Have you ever thought about that? How is life going to be? How is the earth going to look like in the next 5-10 years with the way these devils are moving and with how fast they're moving? Think about that. There's a book of Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Okay, so the vision is yet for an appointed time, meaning it's set for a certain time in history. Okay, like the saying that says only time will tell. Right, when the time comes, then the telling begins. So this is the time where you're going to start seeing, all right, the violence, all right, the wrath of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. You're going to see it, man. All right, when you start seeing things happening and it's not happening in your favor, and you start looking for help and the help is not coming, then you really going to understand what we've been telling you about. Okay, and it's happening, and it's gonna look. A lot of people are about to be homeless. All right, these banks are about to put the squeeze on you. The IRS just came out and said that, people filing taxes this year. Guess what? You're gonna see less on your tax returns. How's that gonna make people feel? Pissed. Okay, the food is running out. So what's gonna happen? People gonna storm the streets. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Okay, and they're not. People don't want to deal with this whole so-called climate change BS that's happening. Carbon this and that. We're going to put hips in people. People don't want that. They don't want to hear that. Now, you got people who do want that, but the majority of people don't like this shit. There's something wrong with it. So they're going to put up a fight. But guess what? The American people, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, they're not built to fight against Esau and his military, man. You're not built for that. Okay? That's why the Lord said he's going to make a sore slaughter. What do you think that's talking about? Second Ezra saw what it says what the burning wrath of the multitude that's kindled over you, man. So that's all the Lord's anger being pushed behind Esau through his military. Okay. It says, but at the end, Second Ezra, Habakkuk 2 and 3, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. So what's happening now? You got clowns out there saying, oh, these are not the men of the Lord because everything they say never happens. Well, your death could be certain very soon because you keep on pushing and pushing and pushing. Yeah, dudes ain't even teaching nothing. They just go every week. It's always, and these men ain't right, and these men ain't right. How about you attend to some prophecies, man? Why are we not talking about prophecies? Well, guess what? You're not a prophet. At least not from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Okay, and we can all see it, man. Yo, go see it. All right, it says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And that's the patience. That's where the patience comes in. Big time. Two things that will count for you to surely wait for it is what? Patience and faith. Okay, those two things are the key ingredients that every one of us needs in order to overcome this beast and their push, their bloodthirsty push, all right, to build the so-called New World Order. Patience and faith. Okay, it's gonna happen, but those two things will carry us through. All right. So let's go back to the article, and then we're gonna read a little bit about the Insurrection Act of 1807. All right. So it says here, quote, we are closely monitoring the events in Memphis and are prepared to support peaceful protests in our city, end quote, the Atlanta Police Department said in a statement Thursday. We understand and share in the outrage. You gotta point out those key words. Okay, outrage. Let's look up that word. Outrage. Okay. It says evil deed, offense, crime, affront, indignity, act not within established or reasonable limits. Okay, of food, drink, dress, speech, etc. Harm, damage, right? Criminal behavior. All right, presumption, insolence, all right, overweening. Okay, so people are just doing, you're doing bugged out shit, excess of bugged out shit. That's why Yahushua said that because, let me see if I can get that real quick. That evil shall well, I don't know why it's not coming to me, but I'm gonna get it. 1 second. All right, this is a book of, there you go. This is a book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12. Yahushua said, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Okay, so this is another prophecy that the Lord gave us. All right, that because iniquity shall abound, meaning what? Lawlessness. People being what? Outraged. All right, thinking that they could just do whatever. And Ezra saw this, the insurrection. All right, so sedition among men. Okay, that's all Ezra saw. He says the love of many shall wax cold. The love meaning that respect, that human common decency. That shit is all gonna be out the window, man, because people can't stomach the things that are about to happen, quite literally. Okay. So it says the Atlanta police. Okay, we read that. It says we understand and share in the outrage surrounding the death of Tyre Nichols. All right. And you always got to pay attention to the names. There's certain names that carry vibration. So they do all these things, like I said, on purpose. Okay. They know exactly what they're doing. Tyre Nichols, man. Really? It says police officers are expected to conduct themselves in a compassionate, competent, and constitutional manner. And these officers failed Tyre, their communities, and their profession. Well, guess what? They don't give a damn. That's the agenda. What do you think they be teaching these so-called police officers now? When they teach you, when you go into security or law enforcement or whatever, they teach the people. They teach these officers that what? That the people are the enemy. The public is the enemy. That's how they raise them. That's how they teach them. That's how they indoctrinate them. Right? So that's why they're always so ultra aggressive. Like, you gotta treat people with respect. But these niggas be coming out here like hound dogs, man. They coming, hey, shut the fuck up, hey. Like, when the shit really go down, trust me, none of these so-called police officers gonna have that power to be running their mouth like that. It's gonna be all out bloody chaos out here. You know, people gonna be chasing them down the street. Come on, bro. That's why the military's gonna have to get involved, because the police officers are gonna get beat the hell up, man. You know, a lot of so-called police officers dropping their badge, retiring. They're like, nah, I'm not doing this shit, because they see that, the government don't got it for us like that. You know, they setting us up against the people, and we about to get our ass beat. So nah, I'm good. I'm out. No benefits. You know, crime rates are going crazy. Like, your lives are really in danger at this point. Okay, because the Lord is putting these demons out on people, and they're doing a whole lot of demonic shit unrelentlessly. Lawlessness. People don't care about the law. They don't give a damn. They're just doing whatever. It's crazy, but we're here, right? We're living it. It says, we ask that demonstrations be safe and peaceful. Come on. And that's what will justify him to enact martial law, because the people are not keeping things safe and peaceful, right? Kemp did not indicate whether this declaration was also in preparation for any Nichols related protests. You hear that? So they're preparing for that. They already know. All right. You know, another thing that they're preparing for? Insurrection. Okay, let's get that in the book of 2nd Ezra real fast. All right. Let me see if I can pull that up. All right, because we are living in those days. Okay, and there's no one who's going to escape that. You know, no government is going to save you. As a matter of fact, they're all working together to come against the people. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up real fast. See something. Let's see. Right. There's a book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 16. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, It says, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So you're going to have people coming together, all right, groups and so on and so forth, all right, binding together and starting some type of insurrection. Okay, whether it be organically done because people are actually truly fed up with this shit, or, all right, because Yahweh Shemiah is going to put the spirit on them, or it's going to be agent provocateurs. Either or, Yahweh Shemiah Shai is going to put the spirit on these people to spark a civil war, civil unrest. That's going to lead to what? Martial law. All right, it says, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. So that's why he said, you can have your demonstrations, but be safe and keep it peaceful. He knows that's not what's going to happen. People always end up doing the opposite anyway, right? So they're not going to regard what the hell you telling them. Oh, this is a law that we can't break and curfew at this time. And no, they don't want to hear that. It says, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. They're going to do whatever the hell they want to do. Right? Lawlessness is going to take over the face of the planet. Okay, it's already happening. They're just not showing you. You got protests everywhere. China be protesting all the time. All right, a lot of these Latin American countries. I remember lately, recently is the word. Okay, a few months back, you had so-called Haiti. Okay, they were also in the mix. All right, fighting, protesting against their governments. I believe Brazil was going at it. Argentina, okay, and so on and so forth, man. They all fighting against their governments. The other one, they had the nigga, they ran into the so-called White House over there, all right, machetes and all, ready to chop this dude up. And the man, they hopping over fences and gates, they out of there, hopping in cars, driving off, just they gone. Niggas is chasing them after motorcycles and shit. Some are running on feet, others on motorcycles. Some jumping off the trees, trying to hop on the car and shit, or some movie shit. Because people are fed up. They see what's going on, man. All right. Every hand of the wicked shall what? Shall fall upon them. All right. So there's a book, Insurrection Act. All right. The Insurrection Act of 1807. So the Insurrection Act of 1807 is a United States federal law that empowers the President of the United States to deploy U.S. military and federalized National Guard troops within the United States in particular circumstances, such as to suppress civil disorder, insurrection, or rebellion. The act provides a statutory exception to the Posse or Posse Comitatus Act of 1878, which limits the use of military personnel under federal command for law enforcement purposes within the United States. Okay, so you hear that? That makes that the Insurrection Act of 1807 is it basically opens up the gateway, all right, and opens up the gateway for them to use military personnel under federal command for law enforcement purposes within the United States. Okay. It says, before invoking the powers under the Act 10 USC, all right, 254. Let me see something here. Okay. Right. It says, requires the president to first publish a proclamation ordering the insurgents to disperse. Oh, remember Trump did that shit. I remember that for that whole January 6th, whatever. He said, you go home, be safe, don't do no dumb shit. Just go home. You know what I'm saying? He did that. And the people just kind of went home and all, and then they didn't show that part. All they showed was, oh, he incited violence. Oh, he didn't. No. All right, but anyway, that they have to actually come out and say it. Like, hey, you gotta cut this shit out. If not, we're gonna do what we gotta do. And hey, that goes back to the Roman Empire. Okay, many times you had Jake always uprising against the Romans. Okay, in the land of Judea, and you always had the Roman governors who used to live in the land of Israel. All right, you had, I believe Pontius Pilate lived in, was it Capernaum? Was it Capernaum or what was it? He lived in it might have been Capernaum, if I'm not mistaken. All right, I gotta go back and double check that. But all these so-called governors, they all lived in that jurisdiction. Okay, and they'll always be pushing, and Jake be pushing back. You know, there was a time where they were trying to open up like a water sewage area, some shit like that. All right, through a certain part of the land where Jake was like, nah, we ain't having that. You can't do this shit. It's not happening. And they went to war. They fought against the damn Centaurians, man. You know, they had orders to put Jake down. You know, so on and so forth, man. This is all history. Okay. It says, as part of the Posse Comitatus Act of 1878, these provisions are now codified as amended. Ooh. There are constitutional exceptions to Posse Comitatus restrictions rooted in the president's own constitutional authority. You hear that? Defense Department guidelines describes, quote, Homeland Defense, end quote, as a, quote, constitutional exception, end quote, to Posse Comitatus restriction, meaning that measures necessary to guarantee national security from external threats are not subject to the same limitations. That means that what? That's that we're protecting our land and our country from enemies foreign and domestic. And then you also started to hear the word domestic terrorists. The FBI came out and used that term on regular civilians in America who don't go along with the plan to bring about a so-called New World Order. Okay, this is all facts. And we're living it. We're just reporting on it. It's not like it's not happening. It's happening. We're just talking about it. We're saying the things that most people don't want to say. Most people don't believe is actually happening. Well, guess what? You're living it. This is America. This is Babylon the Great, the land and the city of confusion. Okay? And the Lord is about to what? He's about to destroy all this shit. All of this shit. Okay? So, let's go back. I want to read another quick hitter. Let me see if I can find it. All right, about martial law. Okay, let's see. It says martial law in America. We are seeing today in the headlines that the domestic deployment of troops aimed at combating civil unrest in cities under siege by Black Lives Matter. Then there was the unbelievable lockdown of the U.S. Capitol, protected by thousands of military troops for the bogus inauguration of Joseph Biden. All right, whoever that is, so-called Joseph Biden, because I don't believe that's him, but you know, that's just me. It says, I think you can pretty well expect depression. Right? That's all biblical prophecy. Okay, the Lord has taken the mirth, all right, the mirth out of the land. Okay, a lot of people are sad, you know, because they're hopeless. They're like, damn, the way things are moving, man. Like, it's like, damn, like things are just getting harder and harder, tougher and tougher, and it's mostly financial. All right, when you ask the average American, yo, what's your biggest fear? Like, what's your biggest problem? What are you really, worried about right now? And that's finances. How am I going to pay my bills? Right? How am I going to feed my family? I can't lose this job. I got to work 2-3 jobs just to have enough for a place to stay and food to eat. And that's it. Constantly working. Why do you think that is? You think people are depressed, but it's just like they can't stop it. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to leave this country and go sit someplace else. No, they're stuck in the routine. Why do you think that is? The Lord put that spirit on them. How you suffering so much and you still can't leave. You're just here, just suffering every day. Suffering has become the norm. America is the land that's just bitter. It's bitter. That's what America means. All right, amargo, bitter. So it says what? Depression, civil disorder, and possibly wars as a fallout from CV Vanessa mandates. As millions are driven into unemployment and financial crisis following their decision to not be inoculated by an experimental DNA altering substance, because again, they're about to push another one out, and a lot more people are seeing what's going on. So there's going to be a higher resistance. So in order for them to break that resistance, they're trying to set up some type of division, civil disorder, civil unrest. So that way, when the military comes in and takes over, that resistance will be already like non-existent at that point. Well, what you gonna resist? There's nothing to resist. Okay, the order has been set. Now bring them arms and hands and foreheads and let's work. That's how it's gonna be. Okay, It says the stress, and that's why you noticed a lot of this so-called Boston Dynamic robots is coming out more and more. All right, and they're not just coming out more and more just to be like at a sports stadium arena or some shit. They're always being pushed towards so-called law enforcement. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. But these people, they don't care. The same people who should be caring, they don't care. The scripture says what? A sword is furbished. It is furbished, man. And it has been given into the hand of the slayer. Okay? Revelation, the 6th chapter tells you that what? That the red horse, all right, that taketh the peace out of the earth. Okay? Revelation 12:12 tells us that what? That these devils are going to come upon the great, the inhabitants of the earth, having great wrath, because they knoweth that they have but a short time. Okay? Second Ezra saw that what? That the innumerable multitude that the wrath that's kindled over you, man. Okay? That's all going into what? Governments and using their military against their people. Okay? Because they're going to force you into that new world order. Okay? It's going to be a new order, man. They got to bring the chaos, and then through the chaos, they could bring that order. All right? Ordo ab chaos. That's just the motto. Okay, it's on the dollar bill. So you know, for them to get that pinnacle, get to the top, they have to go by the means of ordo ab chaos. So that's how we know there's going to be martial law, because there's going to be chaos that opens up the door for them to use that martial law they've been dying to use for so damn long. Okay, so let's go. It says, hey, and I hope this all makes sense. You know, I hope you know it's all being tied in together, because you know I be going in, you know, so I try to make sense out of it. Anyway, so it says as millions are. Oh no, we read that. All right. Let's see. Right here, desperate and hungry people. Right, those two things, desperate and hungry people. Now that's also written in the book of 2nd Ezra. Okay, desperate and hungry people will eventually pour into the streets, demanding their government cease its immoral and unconstitutional mandates on the American people. And to maintain order, the government will respond. Naturally, the claim that such troop deployments are merely to aid in disaster relief efforts is a thin veil aimed at distracting from the real goal of instituting their new world order. The military are primarily trained to kill people and break things. We saw it during Hurricane Katrina, the Hurricane Katrina relief efforts that was mainly focused on detaining people in sports stadiums, shooting alleged looters, and seizing guns from wealthy homeowners in the high and dry areas. Why is that? They need to disarm the people in order for them to take them down. Oh, war on guns, gun violence, we seen shootings and mass shootings. We need to go after the guns. Oh, why do you even want guns? You don't need guns. They want to disarm you, so it's easier for them to take you down. All right? It's not to protect nobody. Remember, guns don't kill people. All right? People kill people by using weapons, and a gun is a weapon. A weapon is an inanimate object until it's used by somebody. So if you ban guns, that's like you're saying, I'm taking the ability for you to fight and defend yourself away from you. That's how you got to think. That's because that's what it is. Okay? Why is the government so gung-ho? All right, on guns? Why? Just go back in history and see why. It says the open admission that U.S. troops will be involved in law enforcement operations as well as potentially using non-lethal weapons against American citizens is a complete violation of the Posse Comitatus Act and the Insurrection Act, which substantially limit the powers of the federal government to use the military for law enforcement unless under precise and extreme circumstances. Section 1385 of the Posse Comitatus Act states, whoever except in cases and under circumstances expressly authorized by the Constitution or Act of Congress, willfully uses any part of the Army or the Air Force as a posse comitatus or otherwise to execute the laws shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 2 years or both. All right, and it goes on and on and on, which I'm not going to go on and on and on and on. All right, but just understand that we're inching closer and closer to what we've been talking about. Okay. And they're setting things up. FEMA is starting to ramp things up in terms of getting ready for food shortages. Okay. All right. They're saying that it's here. Okay. It's here. You've heard it before, but it's happening. Okay. And that's going into what? The famines. All right. Scriptures talk about that. Many people going to die by way of famine. Okay. And if those who don't get cooked by the famine, they're going to be cooked by the sword. Okay. So, hey, man, the Lord is going to do a lot of killing. A lot of people about to get put to death, man. And we're telling you, that's the warning. Whether you hear it or not, the Lord told us to warn. All right. Ezekiel 3:17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word of my mouth and give them warning from me. Okay. Thus saith the Lord. All right. So that's what we have been put down on this earth to do. All right. This is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 13. It says, they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. That's talking about the farmers. Okay, farmers be complaining, oh, we can't grow crops, our animals are dying, there's nothing we could really do, the system is just so bad, I can't even grow nothing. Right? Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So that's the violent protests. Okay? People fighting against each other violently. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So that's what you're about to see here in America very soon. That's why it says, the love of many shall wax cold. Because of what? Iniquity. Iniquity abounding. Lawlessness becoming the norm. Okay, we're about to start seeing that. It's already building to the point where they got states making legal for people to just commit all kinds of fraudulent activities, man. I know that the state of Illinois got that. Okay, now it makes you wonder. I wonder why, right? A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay, so it's going to be a terrifying time that we're about to enter into, man. Nobody want to go outside. That's when women are going to be looking for the men of the Lord, because we're going to be moving with such confidence because we know what's going on. We understand. We have the knowledge, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that the world doesn't know. They don't have. Which is what? The secrets Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua has given us, man. So we're going to know how to move, how to maneuver, and he's going to protect us. So people are going to want to be around us like, damn, how do you guys, like, everything is tough, but we're always chilling. People always complaining, oh, I can't pay my bills. Oh, but yet we always come to work or go wherever we got to go in a very peaceful spirit, very bold, courageous spirit. You see people always giving up. You see people stressing and struggling, but for you, it's so easy. It's like you're just going about your day. See, because you're practicing, you're using that wisdom. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. Why? That's the part of the lawlessness. All right, love of many waxing cold. You're not having no pity upon your neighbor, man. Damn. No pity. Like, I don't give a F what your problem with your situation is. No pity. Damn. It says, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, shooting shit up, setting it up on fire, coming in and stealing their shit at gunpoint, and spoiling their goods, destroying everything, lighting your car up on fire while it's in the parking garage somewhere, shooting up your windows, you might have your car parked in the street, you come back, they took all your tires, they cracked your windows, they scratched the side of your car, one door is gone, windshield broken, side mirrors gone, you might go to I'm gonna go get another car. You get right there to a dealership, that whole dealership is lit on fire. You're like, well, what the fuck? Yeah, man, the Lord gonna destroy everything, spoil their goods. He's gonna destroy everything, man. Every last thing that you got left that you want to hold on to is about to be out of here. And it's gonna be mostly, the theme is gonna be with fire, because again, ultimately America is going to be taken out by fire. So the Lord is going to show you with the signs, like it's going to be a lot of fires and different things. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. And it will make sense. All right. It says, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Okay. When wrath comes down, it burns. That's why it's symbolic with the fire. Okay. Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So the whole world is about to be under a stressful time, man. Okay, great perplexity, like Yahushua said in the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter. All right. So, hey, man, we are here to warn for these things, these evil days that are coming. And for those who don't take heed, you're in a whole lot of trouble, man. I don't know how you're going to make it out, but you better start getting ready because it's coming for you. All right. We who are privy to this stuff through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Shai, we've been out of this system since day one, a long time ago. It's going to be very hard for them to get us. It's going to be a whole battle. Okay? It's going to be a whole battle to get us in some type of bind. A whole battle. And that's one thing they're afraid, that we don't wake up the rest of the elect. But you know what? It's too late. It's too late, man. You revealed yourself. It's too late. All right? So let's get this last precept here. All right, and then we're going to close it out. Okay. All right, it's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse, let's do verse, hold on a second, let me go up a little bit. Let's see, let's do verse 10, Matthew 24 and 10. It says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Right, and we're starting to see that right now. Okay, we're starting to see that right now. Even with these camps, you got dudes just being all extra, super extra. You know, what's up with you? You know, but ultimately he's talking about who? The people of the world. Okay, whenever they hear this truth, they always want to have a problem with it. Like I was watching one of the brothers. All right, I believe his name is the brother Barack Gabar, if I'm not mistaken. He's in the main camp. All right, GMS. Rebuke the tempter. Okay. And I was watching his video that he was going into with this guy, so-called Captain Cesariak, whatever, and Whack 100. And the guy is just, I'm like, yo, dude sound like he got snot coming down his mouth and shit, like he can't control himself. Like, oh, you can't, I'm offended that you calling me, oh, you know, that I'm a child of Israel. I'm not black. I'm not African American. Jake is just gone. Yeah, I recommend you go watch that video, man. You know, but they get offended, man. They get super butthurt about the truth. Like, what's up with you, man? What's your problem? What's your problem, man? And that's why the Lord gotta destroy these niggas. They don't get it. It's so simple. And they make the stupidest arguments to try to justify what they say, and it doesn't even make sense. You sit back and you be like, nigga, what? What's your point? What are you trying to say? Keep going. I want to hear what you actually have to say, because you ain't say nothing. Nigga think he mad deep. And you just sitting there mad bored. Like, what is this guy? Why is this guy, Zariak, even talking to this clown ass nigga? What's wrong with this guy, man? But we know what's wrong with him. He's not a true man of the Lord. That's why. It's evident. All right? It doesn't take you too long to see that. Dude who says the MOTB is not the market, that it's not the C-hip, you know he's not too bright. If an Edomite could catch that, an Edomite could break it down and tell you exactly what it is and show you the science behind it, and even say that, hey, even the Bible talks about it to the T. No, so what's your excuse? Anyway, very next verse, it says what? Verse 11, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. So that's why you got a whole lot of dudes out there now. The last major prophecy left, you see, what are they doing? Oh, it's not this, it's not that, it's not this, it's not that. And the Lord said it. We're reading it right now. Oh, it's just talking about the nation. It's not really talking about the people. It's talking about the... Dude. You sound crazy, bro. Right? But again, it's prophecy. So they're standing in their lot, and it's scary. It's scary, man. Just hearing this shit is like, oh, wow. Right? And shall deceive many, because you got a lot of simple people who are waking up to the fact that they're Israelites. They're going to get got by this. All right? They're being deceived. And shall what? And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So that's the goal, right? Endure until the end. Okay, so that we can what? We can be saved. All right. And endurance, like I said, two things: patience and faith. Those two things will carry you through till the end. Okay. Patience and faith. Verse 14, it says, "And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come." Why? Because the Lord is not a wicked judge. He sends his servants out there to give you the testimony and to show you what's to come. All right. So that what? There's a witness. You all witnessed us out here. You all saw us out here. You all heard what we had to say to you from the Lord unto all nations. Everywhere around the world, YouTube was pushing this truth. Everybody heard it. You know who the Israelites are. Who are the Israelites of the Bible? That concept of it being the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans is a concept that came from the men who started at One West. We know that history from a man named Abba Bivens, okay, who in the scriptures in the reincarnation is Elijah the prophet, who was spoken of in the book of Malachi, the 4th chapter, to come back, all right, to what? To lay this land, to lay the groundwork, okay, for the rest of the men that you see out here in the highways and byways now. And that includes even myself. Okay, we all come from myself, my brothers, and so on and so forth. We all come from that one root, that one seed. Okay? And it goes back, continuation of the book of Acts. Those same men are back to finish our course. Okay? And that's why this gospel is being preached throughout the whole what? The whole world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come. So that's why you're seeing these things happening. Okay? And in the end is what? Perilous times. And then the Lord comes down and delivers us from those perilous times. That's the end. Okay, let's get that and we're going to close it out. Okay, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 1. It says, "And at that time, the end, said the end, the time of the end, right? That's going to be where the perilous times comes, and we're starting to see the build up to those perilous times, right? And this is where we get salvation. So that's how close we are, man. Romans 13:11. For our salvation is nearer than when we believe, man. We're seeing these things. We got to be in that spirit that, yo, we almost out of here. We dead ass almost out of here, man. All right. Daniel chapter 12, verse 1, it says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people." Who are the people? The Israelites, starting with the elect. Okay. And it starts with the men that you see on the highways and byways from our great elders of Great Millstone on down. Okay. "And there shall be a time of trouble," perilous times, time of perplexity, Jacob's trouble, right? "Such as was never since there was a nation, even to that same time." Sounds just like Jeremiah 30:7. All right. "And what? And at that time thy people shall be delivered." That time. And we're almost in that time. That time, man. And that time could happen in the next couple of weeks. All right. Next few weeks, next few months. Okay. We could see this shit just change quick. All right. And then now at that time is about enduring whatever time is left. Once the shit kick off, boom. Now it's about just patience and endurance to go through that temptation, that test. But we still going to be all right because the Lord said he going to keep us. He going to keep us. As long as you have that faith, all right, you're patient enough, he going to keep you. It says, "Everyone that shall be found written in the book." Okay? Everyone that shall be found written in the book. And that's talking about who? The elect. All right, Lord willing. All right, those of us who are laboring in this truth, Lord willing, the Lord have mercy on us and, have our names penciled nicely, all right, in that book. Okay, have our names stamped in that book, stamp of approval. So when your house shot gets back and he does a roll call, yo, you could get up and have a nice smile on your face and be like, "Oh shit, yo, I just heard my name being called, man. The man just called my name, bro. Oh, I heard my brother's name being called, my other brother being called. Oh shit, like it's a beautiful thing. We walk together, we labor together, and now we're about to be rewarded together." Barakatah Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai for that. All right, and that's what we do this for, man. For the Lord to deliver us and our loved ones. Okay? And that loved ones includes the whole house of David, the elect. All right? So I'm going to leave it off there, Lord willing, you've been edified. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh, the water Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai. And until next time, Shalom.